Hello everybody, today we are going to be doing some beautiful wrapping of my soap bars. Now if you want to wrap your bars, you want them to look gorgeous and you want them to look natural, here is a great way to do it, and it really won't cost you hardly any money at all. Now I'm sorry my hair is a bit crazy and disheveled, but the wind is crazy today. It's just horrible outside. But anyway, let me pop the camera down and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. So now I thought I would show you what I'm doing. So basically you can see from these black lines here, this is, I've actually designed this, printed it out on my computer, but I put it through Cricut. Now I'm not getting Cricut to cut it. The reason I'm putting it through Cricut is amazing at doing exact measurements from side to side. That's why I love Cricut. That is a huge thing. Now, of course, I could get Cricut to cut around this, but I've had a few issues with my computer this morning because I have a new computer to me. It was secondhand, but it's new to me. And I haven't loaded up everything new with Cricut into it, and I need to redo it. So anyway, I thought I would show you. So basically on here, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm getting basically 5 on these. One sheet of this costs about 40 cents. So, you know, and this is a really beautiful sort of, it's like a cream or a bone kind of color. It's not white, because if you put white on natural soaps, it just doesn't look right. So you need to use craft paper or like a bone or a brown or something like that. So anyway, that's what we're doing with these. Now I've already cut lots of them up and I'm going to show you how I'm going to wrap them. So we'll put those ones to the side. Now in here I have lots of different ones, from my caramel sea salt to my beautiful pink clay and some essential oil ones as well. Now in the future I'm going to get boxes, but for now I haven't actually done that, and I've had lots of people on Fair asking about these, so I thought, look, let's just do them. So this is basically what they're going to look like. So in the front of it here, I've got my logo, and these are the mistakes I've made in the past, friends. Always put your logo, and however you design your products, whether it's on this box, a candle box, whatever, try and make sure that is all the same, because that is how you create a brand. Now on the top, I've just got, you know, natural shea body soap. You can write whatever you like. Then the name of the product, then the weight here. And also on here, this is what I've just got all the information. So you need to write things like the directions on how to use it, even though you might go, that's a bit silly, it's just soap. You also want to, you know, put your manufacturing details and things that you think are important to sell your product. So for me, I've written vegan, women owned, and organic butters in the soap. So they're things that, you know, help me sell the soap. And then of course your ingredients list and everything like that. So that's what you need to do. Some people put batch numbers and things like that. Now, when you design this, because I've designed it on Canva and then printed it through Cricut, what you need to do is when you do the front bit here, and I just dropped soap off, when you do the front bit here, you want to make sure that this is the right measurement to fit across your bar. So this is for the caramel sea salt. So I've got my beautiful soap here. And now what I want to do is I literally want to sit this on the top. So, and now can you see it sitting on the top? And what I'm going to do, this is how you get it looking really good. What you do is you hold it with one thumb. So I'm going to hold it. Then what you're going to do is make it even. It's a bit hard to do it backwards. And then I'm just going to press a little bit on the side and press on the side. And what this does is it creates this kind of almost like a bit of a template. Now I'm going to turn it towards me because otherwise I'm going to show you something wrong. And then we're going to just hold it tight, wrap it round, and you can see it fits perfect at the back. So that's what it's going to do. I put a bit of tape on it. You can do whatever you like. Maybe you want to do a little bit of glue or something, but I just put one piece of sticky tape, that's all. So I'm just going to put my one piece of tape, and then basically that's how it's going to be. Now, you may want to wrap it over the top of this. I think natural soap shouldn't really be wrapped. I really don't like seeing soaps shrink wrapped. In the past, when I was first learning, I did shrink wrap them, but they really want to breathe. And you know, if you have it in something like this, people pick it up, they smell how gorgeous it is, and they'll take it. It definitely is a big seller to keep it in something like this. So while we're doing this, I'm going to actually organize this order because I have an order of 35 soaps, so I'm going to organize that. Now, here is the box. So I need to organize, the first one I need to do is 12 of this caramel sea salt. And so I'm just going to pop them in here because I'm going to hand deliver these. And literally that's pretty much how it's going to look. And these boxes, if you want to know, if you're in Australia, I actually get them from a place called Stanley Packaging. They're really cheap. They're probably the cheapest place for all of this. Now, I've got to concentrate while we're doing this because I have a habit of talking about something else and then I'm not concentrating. So I'll move everything closer. I had already pre-wrapped this one. Doesn't it look beautiful? I hope you love it. I don't know whether my camera is showing it backwards because of the way the camera is sitting. And at the moment, I'm actually doing several videos at once. I actually did do a video about a Shopify, a fair order that I actually did. So yeah, you know, which was a really big order. That's gone out today. It's been crazy trying to get that order out, and I have several other orders. Now I'm going in a minute, turn this camera around, and I will show you, well, not in a minute, but at the end, I'll show you how empty my shelves are. I've had several people buying big orders on Fair, and they literally have emptied out my shelves. Now I'm thinking in the future, what I might actually do is I might, I'll still be on Fair, but I think I'm going to try and possibly do a website. And the website that I want to do is a wholesale one. That's what I'm thinking of in the future because I'm going to put that in there. Now I'll tell you what happened. I actually just did this order from a lovely person. I'm so grateful for that order. And it was a big order. So the order was, I think, almost $1,700, so $1,700. And we're talking AU money, my friends. And when they did that, Fair take 25%. So Fair took over $400. Now, I don't know what you think, but to me, I just think that is a lot of money. I do understand that they need to take a certain amount because if they don't, they'll fold like many of the other companies that have folded. But to me, that is a really big amount. I think it should actually be capped. And I think, you know, it should be capped at like 300 or 250. And I just think they shouldn't be allowed to take more than like 250 or 300 in commission per one order. For me, that was just crazy. And then on top of it, if you want to be paid earlier, so like, you know, if you want your money, you know, in a day or 2 days, then you pay another 3% as well. Unless you want to wait the month. So to me, I was like, wow, don't you think that's crazy? I mean, look, I do understand business. I do. And I, you know, there's a lot of risk in it. I mean, and I do know that with Fair, you know, if the person doesn't pay them, well, then they take the loss, not us. But still, to me, I was really, like I said, I just thought it was a lot of money. And, you know, I don't like to complain about these things. But anyway, I just thought, oh, come on, you know, like we're already giving 50% off for wholesale. And then on top of that, to pay that amount of commission is a lot of money. So anyway, let's keep going with this order. But you know what? At the same time, when we're talking about that, I guess even though it's a lot of money, you know, you kind of have to look at it that you probably wouldn't have got that sale, or you wouldn't have even met that client. That client might end up being a client for many years. So sometimes I think, you know, at the start, you might think, well, that's a lot of commission. But as time goes on, you know, hopefully it's going to end up in a relationship of selling lots of your products, isn't it? So, and I was really happy with the order that I got, because it's quite a large store here. It's a very, very large store that gets a lot of people from Melbourne visiting it. So hopefully I do super well in there. So here we go. They're looking beautiful, aren't they? This is what they look like all around. And this is what the order is going to look like when somebody gets it. So it looks nice and neat. Okay, so that box is perfect. So we will fold up the new one because they're getting a few different ones. And I often get asked about my tissue paper. This tissue paper is actually from, who's it from? Let me think about that for a minute. No Issue, that's it. See, because I'm talking, I was like, where is it from? You know, I lost my train of thought, which I often do. My kids laugh and tell me it's because I'm old. You know, maybe they're right. I don't know. While we're here, I thought we might, I'm sure you're not going to mind if I actually just fold up these ones. So, you know, like, now let's talk about the cost of making a label like this. There's a few different things to think of with labels. So obviously it costs money for ink, costs money for the paper, costs money, well, not so much money, but time for you to design it. Now, if you're like me and you actually have a pro account for Canva, that money also needs to be considered, because that money is a part of, you know, your business. It's something you're paying for. It's an app that you're paying for. And we often forget about that because we think, oh, it's fun on there. And yes, it is fun, but it's also really important just to remember, you know, that all of these things cost money and they need to come out of, you know, or need to be in a budget at the end of the day and need to be into your cost of goods, because that's a part of doing this, isn't it? It's all just a part of the cost of goods. But if you think about this, and I was going to calculate it, but so the sheets that I got, I think there was 40 sheets and they cost $10 for 40. So what's that work out to be? 40 cents. I think they were $10.95. So it's like 40.2 or 40.8 cents or something each. And then you're going to get 5 labels per that. So it's going to be roughly about 8 cents, 7.8 cents or something like that per label. So I'm going to say this is going to cost you 10 cents with the ink, because I haven't colored it. I've literally just done the black and that on that. So if you color these, of course, it's going to use a lot more ink. And that's what I mean. If you get, you know, the paper in like a brown or a pink or a bone color, whatever color you want to use, is actually very helpful for you, because it means then you don't have to do color that piece of paper. It's like pre-colored. And that's what I think is definitely more smart. And I'm just sorting these out. Okay, so these ones are caramel. I didn't think I had enough of these. Now I have to go and print more. And, you know, my local store where I got these from, the paper from, it's just a local discount store. So it's actually called U-Mart for anybody that wants to know. If people live in this area, they will know. It's kind of like a mini Kmart, I guess. That's just owned by, you know, individual people. It's not a big corporation or anything like that. They have a couple of them. I think there's 4 in the area. So it's not a super small business, but it's not a super big one either. And anyway, that's where I got it from. And the quality of this paper is very good. That's the thing too. And, you know, even if you're thinking of getting boxes, which I'm definitely getting boxes for soaps, and it's going to take me a while. So I'm just going to get, you know, 1,000 at a go each time. That's, you know, and I know that if I ordered much more, it'd be definitely much cheaper. But sometimes you just have to crawl before you can walk, so to speak. You just have to tell yourself, okay, it might cost me 60 cents a box rather than 40 cents a box. But at the start, if that's the kind of money you have, well, that's what you have. So you just work with that. But like I said, we're doing these labels now. And if you're selling to, you might sell to a company that's more like, you know, a market type thing, or this, where this is like a, it's kind of like a food, it reminds me a bit of like a barn almost. It's like food, produce, whatever, because the area I live in, which is Gippsland, where I live, it's known for, you know, its produce and things like that here. It's very, very well known for that. So, you know, the way that I've designed things is really good for this particular area. So that's what I'm saying, you know, think about all those things when you're doing everything. And here is my next one. Doesn't it look beautiful? I've put a little rose on that one. But you don't have to put any pictures. Luckily for me, my daughter is an artist and she is one clever lady. I am back, everyone. I had to print out another one for these. And my two daughters came in. So one of my daughters came in to tell me she's going for a jog. And the other daughter came in because she wants me to get her a salad for dinner. So I had to laugh a little bit at that. But anyway, so here we are fixing these ones. Now, these are also for an order. I've got to do a few of these as well. And, you know, this is the thing too, everybody. You know, I've often said this. Sometimes I don't get lots of orders, but I have actually noticed the longer I've been doing this, you know, the more orders I get. So, which is really exciting, you know, that, and I think if I had have got the orders I get now at the start, I would have been really overwhelmed. So sometimes I think it's actually better, even though, you know, we all want these orders because, you know, that helps your business to grow and whatever. But I think for me personally, I would have been really overwhelmed. So anyway, I think it's better the way it is. Now let's get this box. I can set it on here. So let's pop them in. So don't they look beautiful? So we're just going to pop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of that one. And they really do fit quite beautiful in that box. Like if I opened that, I would be so happy. If I ordered something like that from a small business and opened it, I'd be really happy. To me, that looks super professional. All right, so I'm going to fold that one up, and that way I know this one is also going to this wholesaler, retailer. I keep saying wholesaler, but you know, that's me. I'm the wholesaler, they are the retailer. So, and usually what I do is then I'm just going to like write on the front. So I'll sort of write what that one is. All right, we are on to the next one. So this is what they look like. What I might actually do is I might create some sort of a template or something for my lovely Patreon members. So I will do like a template for you guys over there if you like. Now, one thing to everybody with these, you know, all soaps are going to be different. So it depends on the size soap. Now this is a standard soap mold size that I'm using. So the soap across is basically 7.5 centimeters across times 3 centimeters wide. times 7.5 to 8 centimeters in height. So basically the measurements of this is an A5. So each particular band is 20.5 centimeters in length times 3 centimeters in height. You can make them as, bigger or less, depending, as long as you can get all the information on there that you need to put on there. One thing I did notice is I've seen lots of bands that were really wide, and I personally just didn't like the wide band. I thought some of them that were really wide took away from the soap, and then you really couldn't see the soap as well. And, look, when you're thinking about the packaging for your soap, there's a few things that you really need to consider. And, my other soap, which was just a rectangle shape, I don't think these bands looked good on them. But when you've got ones with these beautiful tops and like this, I think bands look really nice on them. And for me personally, because I don't really like brown or darker sort of colors, I didn't want to have a craft paper. I wanted to have, white or a cream or a bone or a light pink kind of color. So I just felt that this sort of very, very light beige cream kind of color really did match well. And like I said, this is not a cheap paper. This is a really good quality paper, even though it doesn't cost very much. So they're the things that, and I know we think, oh, well, that ream of paper is $1 less than this one. My suggestion, honestly, is pay the extra $1 to get the really good quality, because that's what actually does help your things sell. And I know in the past I've thought, oh, I'm not going to get that because, I really can't afford that, or that costs more money. But these are the things that we need to do, everybody, to make our brand look better, and it gives people confidence in your brand. If people go and buy your products, or looking at buying your products, and you've used really cheap materials, you've used a really cheap paper sticker rather than a vinyl, it really does reflect back to your product. And I know that has no bearing to it, because they're going to throw this wrapper out the minute they open it. But to get somebody to pick this up, whether it's at a market, in a store, whatever, to get them to pick it up and want to buy it, the quality on the outside, like the labeling, needs to look good too and professional, because otherwise, like I said, they're not going to pick it up and buy it. So, and it's taken me a really long time for me to really understand that sometimes you just need to spend the money, and I've said this lots of times, I'm not a wealthy person. So to me, I would always think of the budget option. But, the longer you do this, the more you realize that the budget option is not a good option. If you really want to sell your products, you want other stores to buy them. Because you have to remember, they're not actually, a soap in the store. They don't get to try that in the store. The best they're going to do is pick it up and smell it. That's the absolute best. So it's one of those things, isn't it? And, if you're also selling to companies, like this particular company was saying they do a lot of hampers at Christmas time. So, if they're going to do hampers, well, maybe they don't want this soap in a box. Maybe they want it to look really nice so that it's going to stand out. And, whoever you're selling to, the retailers that you're selling to, they have to fit your brand. There's no good me putting my products in a motorbike shop, because nobody's going to buy this. This is more floral. It's quite girly. Yes, I do have some that are quite country, have that country kind of West Gippsland kind of vibe, which is where I live. That's the kind of, I guess, county you'd call it in America, or the suburb or sort of area that we are in, which is, it's basically a farming area. So where I live in Gippsland, it is quite, very green. There's a lot of cows and, hay and products around. A lot of people, sell things like strawberries, apples, fruits, veggies, just lots of produce, so so that's the sort of area that I'm in. Anyway, we have done those, and I know lots of you are going to say to me, oh, cutting it takes so long. Yeah, it does, but you know what? I actually kind of enjoy it. I know that sounds silly, but I actually really enjoy that cutting thing. To me, it's like a bit of a process that I do really enjoy. Anyway, we are going to do this one next, which is the one called Hey Lovely. And the reason I decided to skip the shea one in the middle is this is all another order. So this is my bar here. And this bar, what I've actually done is I used some organic, it's actually dragon fruit powder. I used that, blueberry powder as well in it, which is on the top, and then the pink clay through the middle. So it's just beautiful. So that's what it's going to look like in the store. So we will start to wrap all of these ones up. And actually, let me get another box because we have to wrap these, don't we? So let's just fold this box up. And as I did say, this is another order. So we're going to organise this while we're doing this as well. Another thing, everybody, too. We will wait for that phone call to end. I am back, everybody. I actually had to leave early because, look, as you all know, lots of you know, I've had a few issues with my iPhone. I had to get a new one. I'm going to have to get my husband to put even more things in the background on it because I actually had a call with about, 8 different people on the call. None of the numbers I knew, so I didn't want to answer. And then I accidentally called one of them back, and it was like a name or somebody I didn't know. So I was like, wow, okay, I'm blocking all them numbers. So I always say to try and stop being scammed or anything, don't answer anything. Just, anyway, I was like, oh no. Australia has a big problem with people trying to do that to a lot of Australians. I'm sure lots of countries have these issues, but I think especially, countries not, where they know we have, we can afford things a bit more maybe. So anyway, I just thought, oh no, so yeah. Anyway, life, isn't it life, And I always say this to my children, I never would have thought I would ever have to deal with this in my life because when I grew up, there wasn't any such thing. And sometimes I really just hate this whole, I feel like, this whole scamming thing that just people are just trying to steal and trick people all the time. It really upsets me. I just hate it. So anyway, let's wrap up this one. So this one is done. Doesn't it look beautiful? It really does look lovely. So we will close this box up so then we know it is more soap. So I'm going to just write on here so that I know it's a beautiful soap. And I will write on the other ones. All right, so I have packed the order now. So what I'm going to do is we are literally just going to keep going where we will just wrap up this soap, my lovely. And I'll address something a couple people have said to me lately. A few people have said, oh, have you realized that you're getting super close to the 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. And yes, I have noticed that. Still a little while off because still over 1,000. I think it's like 1,200 and something to go until I get to that. So, and honestly, like my husband was laughing the other day because I don't look at it that often. Like I know roughly the kind of numbers that it is, but I sort of don't really watch too much. And I'm sure a lot of YouTube people are the same because the numbers go up and down. Sometimes people might leave your channel or they decide it's not for them anymore. And then, you know, you're kind of back to square one again. So yeah, so I kind of don't look that much for that kind of reason. But I hope you have enjoyed a little bit about, you know, wrapping the soaps up with me. I think I've given you a sort of a cost of goods. And, you know, look, also with soap, when we're talking about something like this, so my soap weighs 130 grams. I do them in more bulk, and you know, if you're just making 5 or 10 soaps at a time, it's obviously going to cost you more money than it would cost me to make soap. So then you need to price accordingly. Because a few people have asked me about how they should price their soap. Now, when you ask me that, I actually don't know how much your materials have cost or the time that you put in. You might have put in different ingredients that I put in as well. There's a number of things to think of when we're talking about cost of goods. So, you know, and as you get a little bit more advanced, then usually people would start to, you know, make these things in bulk. So that's going to really add, you know, or take away from your cost. So they're things that you need to consider when you're making things as well. And of course, if you're making wholesale, you really want to try and buy things in bulk. And also, my soap used to be about $7.99, I think it was, $7.99. That's AU. But now it's much more expensive. So these soaps we're talking about now, these are listed on my site for $11.95 each. And the reason that they're listed at that is, you know, prices of everything has gone up. Olive oil has nearly tripled in some countries. So in Australia, olive oil has got really expensive. And if I kept doing it $7.99, I'd be lucky to make 50 cents. So, you know, you just got to be realistic. And two, when you sell wholesale like me, it means that your retail needs to be a decent price so that you can sell wholesale. Because, for instance, $11.95 is my normal price. So when people go onto Fair to buy my products, then of course they get 50% off. So then, you know, I'm not getting the whole amount. So if it's say $12, then they're going to get it for $6. And then also Fair take up to 25% in commission. So, you know, if somebody found you on there and they had not gone through your direct link, then you also lose 25%. And that 25% comes off the wholesale price. So, you know, you have to make sure that your price includes all the commissions you might lose as well as everything else. So this is what I'm saying. These are things that many people just don't think about. You know, and I do understand why they don't think about it, but, you know, it's really important to think about this, everybody. You know, it's a hard gig. Let's be honest here. It's very difficult. Now, I'm just going to print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to print out one more sheet for the Hey Beautiful, and then we have done that one. All right, I am back. I did print this one out, and yes, I'm cutting it by hand again. I actually find it so therapeutic. I don't know what any of you think, but I quite enjoy this kind of process. I mean, look, honestly, if I was to sell thousands and thousands of bars, I'd probably invest in just paying somebody to print this and do it that way. You know, you can definitely do that. The only thing is, you know, there's a reason that a lot of people cut and do all of this thing themselves. The reason they do it is it saves them money at the start. So until you get quite big in what you're doing, sometimes it is cheaper for you and helps you make a little bit more money doing it yourself. But, you know, you've got to sort of also say what's it costing in time. It might slow you down. You can't make as much. But if you don't need to make as much, but, you know, you need to make a little more money and help yourself in that way, well, then this is also a good thing, isn't it? So now I've almost done this one, and I can't remember who suggested it, but I had a subscriber and she said to me, you should make a bar that says, "Hey, lovely." So that's what I did. So thank you to that little gem. That did say that to me a while ago. And anyway, so this darling bar is called Hey Lovely. It's a bit sweet, isn't it? I love that name. And obviously I do, because I say it all the time, don't I? And when I've done all of these as well, I'll whiz the camera over so you can kind of get, you know, a full look. And this is what I mean. If you're new to making soap, or you think you want to sell soap, maybe just make 6 different bars. There is plenty of people that make 6 different scents, and that's all they ever stick to, and they do really well that way. So maybe that's something you might want to do as well. Anyway, I've done that bit, so I'm going to keep going with the next one, and I'll bring you back for a little bit as we do each one. Hello everyone, it is the end of the day. I have totally finished, so I thought, look, let's just zoom over so that you can get a bit of a closer look on what we've been doing. And I hope you enjoy it. This is literally all I have left of the new soaps. So I know it looks like a lot, but it's really not. If I get even 2 or 3 wholesale orders, that will wipe me out and take all of the soap. So I'm definitely going to have to do some more soap videos, aren't I? And bring them up soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, like I said, and I'm going to see you lovelies on the next video. Bye, friends.